Today's been a day. First off, I think uh, I think life's good, and I'm very very grateful. Life's good. I'm very grateful. Today's been a day. Let me sit up. Get y'all attention. All right, here we go. Life's good. Everything's good. I have to speak on this like while it's fresh, because if you ever had a day where you're like, what the fuck? Exclamation points, caps lock, just WTF, exclamation point, exclamation point, exclamation point, right? So it's October 3rd, right? 2023. So I have to be very careful how I phrase this. But 3 years ago, right, on this date, I went to a store because just I had a family friend, right, that was let's say killed by some people. And the crazy thing is, like, after this guy died, shortly after, his mom and his sister died, right? And I remember his funeral was on my birthday, right? And I generally like always have words, but I remember like at my birthday when I went to his funeral, I can't say anything to his mom. And I wished I would have said something to his mom and comforted his mom and even his sister, right? Because not that long after, they both died. And I realized, like, damn, I got to use my voice because people go through so many things. And maybe in some respects, I can be God's last line of defense on this planet in terms of like speaking life into people that are really in emotionally vulnerable and fragile situations, right? So I preface that to say, right, it's essentially a day of healing, dedicated to to a the memory and legacy of these people that have gotten killed, right? And to that end, I go into a Whole Foods in Newark, right? And I just found out about the tape. Like, I'm getting followed while I'm in the store and like illegally detained, and they violate my civil rights or whatever because they profile me, right? And long story short, we take it all the way through court in over the last 3 years, just to like meet their lawyers today and to hear the Amazon Co., which owns Whole Foods, right, which partnered with Prudential and got public money and tax abatements to build this store, just to literally hear them say that racial profiling is good, right? Now, I know that not all police think like this, but like when I hear the institution of like the Newark PD, people saying that, they're like, that's no surprise, right? Like, it's a notoriously challenged police department with a well documented like New York Times history of like real systemic issues, right? So to hear them like, especially like, a white cop on a Newark PD respectfully just say racial profiling is good, that's normal, right? That's par for the course. But you don't typically expect like the granola Whole Foods, like northeastern liberal, like I'm sure they're probably like good Democrats, right? Not like quote unquote racist white people, but their policies, and when they really get down to like what they value in ownership and equity, like we don't matter in that, right? And so today, when you get down to the lawyer that represents $1 trillion company and you hear what their interests are, they're like, nah, nigga, you're a nigger. You know what I mean? Like, and like, forget all the other education and jobs and like what you think money and value is. Like, that shit don't matter. Like, these institutions, these $1 trillion institutions, don't see us as shit. Like we're less than people to them. And the challenge and what I realized is like, what I figured out is like everybody's in on it. Like even like our black like leaders and elected officials, it's like, or even like in the investment community, it's like people, even our own people that feel like, yo, we get a little bit, we know that it's fucked up, but we get a little bit and we'll like not support you if you speak up. So all I'm saying is, um, I'm not, this is like, may not be the advice of counsel, or it's definitely not actually for me to speak on this, but I'm speaking on it because I'm like, what the fuck is going on out here? Like these $1 trillion companies, these Whole Foods who partner with Prudential and Goldman and Newark, like, yo, these really people will go into a meeting and say like, yo, racism is cool. We don't give a fuck about these niggas. And then the way that the system is and like how much protective and like if you got money in a system in the legal system, like it's like everybody got to be kind of cool with it, and then celebrate literally pennies being dangled in front of you. And and then like if you speak up and tell the truth, you're the bad guy. So I was just thinking like, I was having this conversation last time I was in Asia with some colleagues from Singapore. It was like, okay, do we try to like fight and change our country, or do we just get the fuck out while we can? And I'm at a point where moments like the one I had today could be massively discouraging. And I've had my own ins and outs and travails with the legal system and injustice, period, which we can get to and speak on later. But the fact that we have literally the biggest companies in the world, right, come and take our money as customers, our money as vendors, mind you, being one of the few, I'm sure, African Americans from that community has ever sold a product in a Whole Foods. It's got to be like, whether you're customer, partner, vendor, employee, there's so much systemically enshrined racism, and the barriers to get these corporations to change their ways is almost impossible. So for me, I'm definitely gonna break the rules, like whatever the court rules is. Like, bro, I'm not trying to. I don't have like $1 trillion worth of like legal resources like these guys. I can't play that. All I can do is just get to the people, and for our young people, and I'm grateful that I get to speak to a lot of young people. Right? Um, it's almost like, how do I say this? Like what they're not telling you, and what your teachers can't really say in the system is like the way that capitalism and the corporate hierarchy is set up, like you ain't shit. Especially like, you know, our young people that live in low income communities or communities that are primarily like black indigenous places like Newark. It's like, I want to tell you that there's hope, but you are the hope. And you gotta change shit, disrupt shit, and just like not give a fuck. Because this game, it's so wicked. Like, we're not even human to these people. They don't give a fuck. They got rich off of having somebody be nothing. And I want to say it's definitely bigger than race, right? Because like all skin folk ain't kin folk, right? Like, and like I would say the overwhelming majority of my Afro indigenous Americans are unfortunately, yeah, unfortunately, like A lot of us are lost and misguided, and I maybe fell into the trap too for a period of time where it, like you can lose yourself in trying to become the melanated version of your oppressors. And I thank God, Allah Hashem, all them, Jesus, Yeshua, Yah, that like I never really experienced the types of successes I thought I wanted, although I was offered it. I turned it down many times from a lot of my experiences, whether they have been in from Harvard to Wall Street to venture capital and private equity and these different industries. I mean, the like people have no idea the amount of money I've been offered and things I've seen and places I've gone and rooms I've been in. And a lot of this I don't speak on because it's just, you get it how you live, but god damn, like we we've really been trafficked and commodified, and that's the underpinnings of America. And it's so enshrined into like everything about this country that like this country has to fall. Because what is it built on? We built like a palace on, or a White House on like a graveyard. And especially if you're in Newark, it was a day when I read like, oh, who's Robert Treat, right? And it was like, okay, this guy cleansed the land of the savages. Like that's what this is. Like we celebrate people or say this person founded this because they cleansed the land of the savages. So when you look at where the equity is in a city like Newark with the Prudential managing $1 trillion and getting billions of dollars in abatements to open stores like Whole Foods and quote unquote redevelop it, and then we get racially profiled and we can't even like buy Brew Drive, Dr. Brew kombucha in peace. Like it, and mind you, I buy Dr. Brew kombucha. I think that's what they said I stole or something. And I support that brand because I remember for Brick City Solstice Day years ago, Brew Drive donated a bunch of kombucha. And I was like, ever since then, I'm like, oh, they care about the community. I'm gonna support them. So like, and I'm gonna buy them for people that maybe killed somebody in my family just because I'm on like, yo, we got a hill. And I think of people I respect in society like Rosa Parks and all of them people we taught about, like those people are criminals in their day and not like lit, as we would say in society. And everybody, mom, grandmama got like a picture or a book or something to do with Dr. King and Malcolm and all of these people that and these civil rights people that definitely weren't accepted and embraced by the masses. And so going back to today was a day, what the fuck? It's like the most powerful, richest companies in the country, they come to our city, they literally practice racism and make it impossible for you to call them out. And then if you do, you're like blackballed. But maybe I just don't give a fuck no more. Because I know that the people got my back. I know that crypto Web3, we lit. We up. Crypto got my back to where, and more importantly, like God got my back to where it's just like, I don't see winning as binary. Like I don't need or expect a lot, but I know everything that God has for me is coming, and this shit has to change or we gotta get the fuck out. Because I'm here to report I've pretty much met or interacted with the most elite of us in this society, in this country, and in the world, actually. And yeah, I'm sure there's no level one can get to that can shield them from challenges that are particular to being a Afro-Indigenous man. Like, I'm not sure if I'm phrasing that. I don't know what Tyler Perry's life is like. I never met him. It, it seems pretty cool for what he's got going on, but like outside of him, um, I'm not sure that like there's like a level you can get to where if you're real authentic, like just I'm just like a honest, masculine, straightforward guy that looks like this, and it's really inconvenient in this system to kind of be like knowing that I'm chosen for something great, and that knowing that we're chosen and that we're more than garbage. And like people say that they know that shit, but when you start challenging it in the system, and it's like, oh, these motherfuckers want to destroy me, destroy my ability to steward my family. And what am I doing wrong? I go on my extreme ownership shit. What am I doing? I'm waking up 5 a.m., taking cold showers, praying, meditating, not smoking, drinking, not having sex. I'm praying times a day. I'm running half marathons and like working out and cold plunging and hyperbaric chambers and like in therapy, and I'm reading the Bible, the Quran, the Torah. I'm going to the masjid. I'm going to the church. I'm going to the temple. I'm going to every type of temple. And like they ready to shoot me at the door. So we have to be our only hope. Uh Please support me. Sometimes um it's a lonely heroin journey for everybody. We all have our struggles, but in the state of New Jersey, there's no one going harder to change things. And I don't mean, respectfully to any of our elected officials. Like, I'm not one way in one place and then like bojangling for some white people in a mansion to like I'm not owned by nobody owns me, which is probably even more scary and dangerous for them, that I can store the influence at this level. And I've got the biggest enemies one can have in this society, which is the corporations with the most money. Put a target on me and a price on me, and I'm fine with that. As long as our children, my daughter, doesn't have to feel the brunt of this weight of racism.